I'm happy that we agree that opinion, public opinion is something that we both value on our side. We value that public opinion changes the government, we value the public opinion makes a difference. What we're only contesting on is the fact that public opinion should make a difference while the trial is going on. What we're going to prove to you is that as long as it doesn't affect procedure, which we've already proven to you and will continue to prove to you by showing the kinds of checks and balances we have, as long as that holds, then other factors of the judicial process will also be investigated, will also be affected, or other factors such as investigation efficiency, or things like laws that facilitate those crimes happen in the first place, like gun laws, and things that facilitate these crimes or these activities to happen in the first place. These things will also be affected by public discourse. This is going to be my primary argumentation. Before I go into all that, I'm going to deal with something different. They're still harping on their model, which we already questioned you in the first place. They said, we're okay if they publish facts in the case, but we don't want them to be colored by opinion. We already questioned them on that fundamental level. How are they going to remove the fact from the opinion in the first place when you're printing interviews with neighbors, which clearly say, I thought that person wasn't a really good guy. It's a quote, by the way, you can't modify that because we're living in a media. So I thought that person wasn't really good, or I thought that he had this kind of character flaws. We're already presenting all that kind of information. I don't understand how you're going to separate your opinion from the fact anyway. And if the argument is, okay, fine, all facts at all, and that's a severe problem on the side of the media who's not publishing something so relevant and pertinent in those newspapers. So on that level, they haven't been able to draw any distinction. But secondly, they pointed out harms with our case. They said, look, you're going to influence the judges, you're going to influence the juries and the judicial process by this. We pointed out so many ways that we do check this and we don't let that happen. Firstly, they talked about how judges will be influenced by this because the only case they could point out was Linda Lovelace, where, by the way, it was something that they didn't prove how public opinion was the reason why that influence happened. They just said it did happen, and that's the thing. We pointed you examples of why it doesn't arguments of why it doesn't actually happen. Because first of all, these judges are trained to be objective people. They're trained to follow what is happening in court and follow that expert opinion and advise the case. Secondly, the harm that they're talking about, that they want to get elected into the judicial office again, and that's why they're calling public opinion. That doesn't exist because the selection of judges happens through fair and free procedure. And moreover, we say that even if it's beyond the judges, the people who make a decision in those trials are the juries who are sequestered away for a long period of time and who have access to kind of public information that they want. But then they do that as a concession. They say, see, you're conceding that you're being forced to put these people away, so you're conceding that they're going to have access to public information at that time. We don't think so. We think the reason these people are sequestered, meaning that the reason that we don't take everyone's opinion on the direct judicial outcome is because the judicial process and decision making requires a lot of other things, such as expert legal opinion, such as the exposure to the entire facts of the case, which the media is not able and is not capable of providing. It cannot provide the day one transcript, the day two transcript to the whole entire court case and expect people to provide a fair trial. If that was possible, Mr. Speaker, we think we would open up judicial cases to public voting, but that can't be done. So that's why juries ask the question and they're given access to that kind of information. So we don't think that's a possibility. Even if it happens, we think it's extremely significant. Third, no, I'm not going to take that. Moreover, we're going to argue in our speeches how this opinion that we're talking about, how the influence that they're talking about, the outside the world is bringing to this case, that influences other factors of the case, such as the federal investigation and lobbying for changes in law, something I'm going to explain in my point. Finally, the argument that they made about character assassination being a problem and how this is going to lead to trial by media and how these people's characters are going to be hallucinated. Three responses. Firstly, the outcome of the trial will acquit that person. Because ultimately, if that person is proven to be innocent in the court of law, then all that was done before that doesn't matter. Ultimately, O.J. Simpson was declared to be innocent, and that was all good. Secondly, we say that all of this is going to be speculation, and speculation is something that they can't avoid even under their model, because they say speculation still happens. At least on our side, we're providing them facts relevant to the case, we're providing them opinions which are bounded by facts, and we're giving that kind of speculation out there. We're not just leaving it open. And thirdly, we say that kind of character assassination can happen even after the trial, so it doesn't really matter where you do it in the court.
You're now telling us that opinions are bounded by facts. So what we really know opinions to be are relatively more baseless and based on feelings. But if you don't even know the facts of the trial, how do you even have an opinion on that? It's just going to be on your personal bias.
which is why we say bring both the facts and the opinions so that you have a clear and direct picture of what is happening in the case. We don't think these things can be separated, and that is why we argue for that on a side of the house anyway. So let's go into the idea of social discourse. Let's talk about the idea that I hinted out at the beginning of my speech on how this raises awareness on issues related to the case and other things. Because ultimately, and let's broaden our scope a bit. Let's talk about cases apart from civil society. You have cases which highlight certain issues prevalent in society, such as abortion, such as gay marriage, such as things which are basically dividing public opinion, which do require a huge amount of opinions from different sections of society. And even in criminal cases, there are many situations where the things like investigation by the federal authorities is currently lacking. We've had examples such as the one in India where a prominent bartender was shot at point blank range by a son of a fellow politician, and the case escaped all media attention initially, and ultimately after the trial was out, after the guy was acquitted wrongfully, then the media stepped in and got a social awareness to do things like improve the investigation procedure, to do things like change the drug laws and that sort of thing, and to ultimately make a difference in the kind of procedure that people followed during the trial. They didn't influence the decision per se, but what they did was they changed the way the procedures in the country are happening. That is the kind of thing we're talking about. And we think that kind of thing cannot happen after the trial is over. Because if you're talking about something so prominent as gay marriage, if you ultimately want people to discuss on the benefits and the merits of gay marriage, after the trial, the only thing that stands out of all cases, all these brilliant and philosophical arguments raised in court, is the fact that the decision is out there. The court said gay marriage is wrong, and that's the decision is valid. They don't care how the procedures were made, what kind of arguments were there. If you let the media open up to these things, to present their opinions of what were the facts, what were the arguments made in that case, then people have the discourse. Then people raise issues about these crucial questions, such as abortion, such as gay marriage, such as federal laws that defend all of these. We think that kind of procedural benefit out of this policy is what we're defending. We argue to you the procedure is not going to be effective, the direct judicial outcome is not going to be affected by this because it has to balance, but everything else in society is going to be affected by the opinion. We're very, very proud of it.